Good evening, everybody. Happy Friday the 13th, TGIF to each and every one of you. I am your host, Don the Kingpin. Welcome to another episode of the Kingpin Talks podcast. We got another hot one for you on tonight. But first, let me introduce a few people in my life that's very special to me. First and foremost, my brother Nathan, my co-host, my brother Nathan, all in Butler Jr. How you doing tonight, my brother? How you doing?
Doing pretty good on this Friday the 13th. Excited about getting this show done. And
Oh
hey,
man,
let's get it.
let's get it, brother. All right, next up, got my other co-host all the way from South Carolina. Welcome in, Anthony. Playoff mode, Connerly. What's up, my brother? What's up?
What's going on, bro? Excited to be here with y'all and ready to get into this conversation.
Oh yeah, we got a juicy conversation. And last but not least, I am so happy to welcome to the channel for the first time the CEO proprietor of Coffee with Court. You can find her on TikTok and IG. My friend from another mother, a sister, Courtney Edwards. What's going on, my sister? What's going on?
What's up, everybody? I'm so excited to be here tonight. Thank you so much, brother, for having me on for this
Uh,
conversation. Y'all, I'm just excited to jump right into it and let's talk about it because it's definitely a loaded conversation
oh yeah,
that needs to be had. So
yes.
I'm excited. Thank y'all all for having me here. And yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Let's get it.
Oh yeah, we're looking forward to it as well. We appreciate you for joining us. I said we got to bring a female on with this one. You know what I'm
Oh yeah,
saying? We got to
of
Yeah.
course,
definitely bring a female on with this
of
one
course, of
because we
course.
don't want to find ourselves canceled or locked in jail somewhere again, berated and all this stuff. But I'm so happy that you was able to join us on tonight, sis. All right, let's get into it. So if y'all was wondering what the topic is for tonight, we're gonna be discussing what does healthy dating look like today. Now we know that in this day and age, there's been a lot of examples out there that has shown us some ugly things. Considering that this is Friday the 13th, there's some scary things out there right now about dating. Some very hideous things, and what we was grew up on before. Kind of find out that it seems like they done dissipated. They done went to the wayside, and some people just want the bitterness, they just want the hatred, they just want to be ran over. But we're gonna show y'all tonight what does healthy dating look like. We want to encourage y'all today that don't give up dating. You know what I'm saying? Don't think that all hope is lost for you dating. We're gonna throw some tips out there. Y'all throw us some tips out there. What's going on, chat? We want y'all to help us out on tonight. Throw y'all questions and comments. Throw everything out there on the chat because we're gonna talk about it. So grab your coffee, grab your tea, or whatever you drink on this pleasant Friday, and we're gonna talk about it. So I'm gonna throw it around to the panel right now, and I'm gonna let them take it off right here, and then I'm gonna just sit back.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like every week or so we see a dating question posed on Twitter or like most recently I don't know if y'all saw this video, but there's a woman on Twitter and I guess she was recording herself on TikTok and she was in the man's car and she wouldn't get out of his vehicle because he was taking her to Cheesecake Factory for their first date. And she was like, her thing was, I look too good to be taken to a franchise restaurant.
What?
And and to be honest with you, like I feel like these situations are mostly like skits and people do them to get like clout and fame on the internet, but
Facts.
it always becomes a topic of conversation. And one thing I've been hearing recently from all the single people is like, hey, the dating pool has piss in it. Like that's one thing I
Ooh.
hear all the
Acid.
time. And so, I just wanted, really for us to talk through this and trying to figure out like healthy ways to approach dating, healthy behaviors. And I think ultimately it's like the first part is really figuring out what you want out of dating and understanding that the figuring out what you want is the most important part, but then acting accordingly. And so it's like if you're out there, if you're trying to find something serious, approach it seriously and make sure the people that you're dealing with are approaching it seriously as well. I feel like one of the biggest issues nowadays with dating is people aren't on the same page. So like, people are saying one thing, but they don't really mean it. Like a lot of guys out there, I won't just say guys, but other people
Mm-hmm.
in general,
There you go.
they may make someone feel like, hey, I'm looking for something serious, but in all reality, they're just looking for physical intimacy. And there's nothing wrong with that. If you're looking for physical intimacy and that's really it, just make sure the other person knows and is on the same page with you. Otherwise, like the wires get crossed and there's misunderstandings and people end up with hurt feelings, you
Yeah.
know? And so that was kind of where, I first started kind of thinking about this and where my mind went with it.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Okay. Well, this was a very controversial and hot topic that you threw at us. But we appreciate it, though. We appreciate it because this is definitely something that need to be talked about. And me personally, if I could just throw this out there, hey, Cheesecake Factory, hey, it's semi fancy to me.
I like
I love
cheesecake.
Cheesecake
You know what
Factory.
I'm saying?
I love it. Hey,
I like cheesecake.
you want some buffalo what they call them? I don't even know what they call them. Buffalo or cauliflower on wings.
Oh,
Let's do it.
yeah.
Hey, let's go. You want a cheesecake? All right, let's do it. You want some pasta? All right. I don't see
Listen,
nothing wrong with I don't see nothing wrong with
me.
cheesecake. But I mean, in all seriousness, I mean that just really shows how misconstrued dating is now. Intentional dating. It's not about character, it's not about
Yeah.
respect, it's not about the trust. It's about what you can do for me and me only. It's about how much money you can throw out. If you're not spending $500 on the first date, I only want to be with you. And that is the number one cause of malfunctional dating right there. Going in with the
Insane.
wrong perception that dating is all about how much money I can spend. Now, I'm not saying to just find somebody that ain't really, they ain't got no livelihood. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is that you can't just rely on how much a person makes and think that, oh, this gonna be it, because it's been proven. It's been a lot of billionaires that's been couples that's been dating and it don't work out.
Yeah.
So money can't buy you happiness. Money cannot buy you love, because at the end of the day, when the looks go away, when you get older, the looks gonna go away, the money gonna go away, and you just stuck with what you. And it's all about what you done. What is the core of the relationship?
Hmm.
Is it love? Is it trust? Is it God? Or is it money?
Yeah.
Is it about the materialistic things? So if people will learn how to get to the core things of dating and really put the standard in motion, then you won't have any problems going forward. But that's all I need. That's all I want to add on there. I'm gonna let somebody else go.
I'm gonna let Court go before me.
Oh yeah.
Okay, yeah, this is loaded. I got a lot to say. First of all, on behalf of
Let
all
loose.
seasoned, mature women, take us to Cheesecake Factory, okay? Take us to Cheesecake Factory. All right? All right. The first thing I want to say is that and I want to make it a point. Today is my first day back on social media and I'm doing the podcast with you guys. But I literally took a break from social media. And that was part of the reason why. Social media has ruined
Oh yeah.
our minds.
Hmm.
It's ruined and it's caused us, and I say us when I'm talking because I never want people to feel like I'm attacking or talking
Yeah.
about. So I say us, a
Right.
lot,
Yeah.
but it's caused us to create this false illusion and these unrealistic
Hmm.
expectations when it comes to dating and getting to know people, because we're looking at the rich and famous and we're like, oh, well, we want this and we want that, and it's causing us to put expectations on people that they're not able to meet.
Preach.
And so it's like you're living in this fantasy land looking for something that, 9 times out of 10 you'll never have, because that's not the level that we're on. And
Exactly.
not to mention, piggybacking on what my brother said, even the people with status, even the people with money, them people not happy for real. You're only seeing what they want you to
Exactly.
see.
Yep.
Come on now.
And how many times have we seen on the Shade Room, whatever TSR splits, people divorcing, people breaking up? You know what I'm saying? So while it may look like it's all glitz and glam, these people are still divorcing, they're separating, they're breaking up. You know what I'm saying? They're the same as we are, essentially. And
Yeah.
so that's why it's so important to create and establish relationships on a solid foundation,
Mm-hmm.
not based on what you see. Forget famous people. Even we can sometimes compare ourselves to other friends or family. I want what they got. No. I want what God has for me. I don't
Yes.
want what mama had. I don't want what my brother or sister or my
Mm.
best friend. I don't want what y'all have. I want what God has for me. It might not look like what he has for somebody else. I want what he has for me. And so as a result of that, I have really just restructured what dating looks like for me. My birthday Sunday, y'all.
Oh,
I'm about
nice.
to
Happy
be
Happy
early
early birthday.
30.
Happy
Thank
early birthday.
you. But I'm about to be 37 years old. I am single. I'm actually divorced. And so I'm still learning what love even looks like after a divorce, right? I am 1 year post-divorce. And so one of the things that I wanted to do when I got divorced was basically take some time to really get to know myself. I think one of you guys said it, I can't remember which one, but it's like you got to know what you want, right? And you got to know what you don't want. You have to know both. And so in order to do that, you have to take some time and really sit with yourself. As a woman, one of the things that we don't really like a lot of times is being alone or feeling
Mm.
alone. But sometimes you have to sit with yourself. You have to be alone so that you can learn. So I dated myself for a month straight. Didn't entertain anybody, nothing, just me. I took myself out on dates. I really just, and in that time I learned so much about myself that I didn't even know, because I'm so busy trying to get to know other people, or
Mm.
looking into other people and wanting to just have somebody, that I never stopped to just love on me. And so I think that that is very vital in healthy dating. Step one: date yourself.
Yeah.
Date yourself so that you can be in a position for somebody else to date you later on. Identify your own red flags and work on them. So that when you finally meet somebody and you're getting to know somebody else, you already know, okay, well, these are my red flags, these are my triggers. Number two, be honest with people. Right now, in this phase of my life, maybe it's because I'm a little older than y'all, but I don't really got a lot of time to waste. We got to
Mm.
stop wasting people's time.
Yeah.
That's right.
We do that by knowing what we want going into it and knowing what we
Mm.
don't want. So that way, when you're approached by somebody or you meet someone and you're starting to date, you can tell sometimes within the first conversation, nah, this ain't it. Why would we string somebody along if you already identified, nah, it's not what I'm looking for. So we have to identify our red flags, communicate them. I tell people right off the gate, hey, these are things about me that I'm working on. And a lot of women don't do that. We
Yeah.
like to pretend like we got it all together, and no, I'm a mess. I got an attitude sometimes. I'm this, I'm that. I'm a great person, but these are things that I'm working on. So I just think honesty is a huge piece also in getting to know somebody in healthy dating. You got to be honest for it to be healthy. Um, Lying, it just really doesn't get you that far. So I'm gonna shut up and let somebody else talk, because this
Oh
is
no,
something I
no,
could
you
talk about
talking
all
talking
night.
good.
You speaking
I
great.
could talk all night. So
Nah,
I'm
you.
gonna pass it to you, Nathan. I'll come back after
All
that.
right, all right, all right. But no, I love everything that you said, because we
Yeah.
kind of on the same page. I feel like one of the biggest things that sometimes is missing in getting to the dating world is getting to know each other. I feel like a lot of times that it ties into everything that y'all are saying, that some people like myself, like I'm getting in a situation where I'm trying to be in a relationship, but don't allow social media to make you feel like you have to rush into things, because that's the one thing that for any single individual that you cannot allow yourself to do. You need to figure out, what do you want going into the dating situation. Don't let social media or this person had a kid at this time or this person's in a marriage at this time make you feel that, oh, I need to rush so nobody won't talk about me. Don't worry about what anyone's saying about you. You got to make sure that you are good first. Then with that, you need to make sure that the individual that you're getting to know understands all your goals, all the things that you want in a relationship. Because the worst thing to do, I know a lot of times, I know you all see it on a regular. You can hear somebody say, why they in a relationship at the 6 months? Why they getting married to 7 months? You take your time. If you know what you want, you know what you want. But make sure that you get to know that person individually before you find yourself stepping into something, then saying, I don't like this about this individual. I hate this. I hate A, B, C, D, and E about this individual. But you skip the most important stage, which was getting to know them. You skipped the most important stage, which was establishing a goal, establishing a mindset that you two can collectively reach. Because as Ant said earlier, if you're going into it for a physical reason, don't get in this dating world. Don't get into it because you're leading another individual on to think that we are stepping into something serious, when in reality, your mindset is for that one evening. If you know that that's what you want, don't even consider dating right now. That's not for you. Make sure that you give that person the love and respect that they deserve, that you're trying to build a relationship with. Because when you go into any situation, you should always have in that mindset, is this the individual I want to spend the rest of my life with?
Fact.
All of those things need to be taken into consideration. And I don't care if it doesn't work. Every individual that you step into a relationship with should be viewed as, I'm getting to take this step for the rest of my life with it. Because if you don't, what are you in for it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, for sure. It's
So
it's
true.
too many people out here playing around. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And like Courtney said, it's like we're not getting any younger. You know, like I think we're all in our 30s, and it's like people still out here acting like they're in their early 20s or even in their teens sometimes, as far as their level of maturity and how they approach dating. And just to go back to that story I was talking about, so the woman, like, basically the date ended, and he ended up taking her home, and she was trying to, like, when she figured out that he wasn't going to take her to a better restaurant, that's when, and really wanted the date to end, and he was about to drop her back off at her home. That's when she started wanting to compromise. Like, when, and it was too late. My man was like, "Nah, the date's over. Like, you treated me disrespectfully," and he had his non-negotiables, and that was one of them. Being treated with respect, and she wasn't even willing to do that on a first date. So he was like, "I don't want to have anything to do with you." And that's the thing. It's like, you gotta piggyback on what Courtney said. It's like, you gotta pour into yourself. You have to understand. Like, a lot of people, like, and we've all been through things, but they really let the trauma that they've experienced in their life dictate how they approach, treating other people. And like, there's a real element to where, just like having a certain level of human decency and how you operate in working with other people and how you approach, like, dating people and just how you treat them in general, a lot of that has gone away. And it's like, you have to love yourself first, before you're capable of loving anyone else. If you don't love yourself, then those same traumas are going to come back and impact your relationship if you're in one. And a lot of people just, they're not able to cope. Like Courtney said, it's like, you have to date yourself. They're not willing to operate in life being single. There's so many people that are like, no, I just, for whatever reason, they're like, they don't feel whole unless they're in a relationship with someone. And you have to be whole first before, you can approach dating healthy in a healthy way, in my opinion. And so, otherwise history is going to keep on repeating itself. And those traumas
exactly.
that you experienced before, they're just going to creep into your relationships and normally ruin them. And it's like it's a vicious cycle.
Yeah, y'all, man. I'm just sitting over here eating. I got my plate out, I got my fork and everything, just eating over here. But y'all said some good stuff, man. Y'all said some awesome stuff. And the word is just the words that just kept popping out at me as y'all was talking with self-love. And I think that's what many people are missing in this day and age is self-love. They are putting that responsibility on other people to love them instead of loving themselves and allowing the other person to enhance the love that's in them and vice
Right.
versa. And one of the things that Courtney was saying, and I can really empathize, I can see eye to eye with her with, it's the fact that she's 1 year from being divorced. I am actually 7 years from being divorced. Um, and after that divorce, I was a broken man. I was in pieces. Um, I didn't know who I was, and I had to take that moment to really seek God and to allow Him to show Him my innermost part, show Him my flaws, my imperfections. Because I knew that going into the next relationship, I did not want to exhibit that hurt, that I experienced in my last marriage to show up, in the new relationship. And so when you're going through hurt, when you're dealing with trauma from past relationships, you really have to take time out to deal with that stuff. Because if you don't, and God potentially sends that next person in your life that could potentially be your spouse, a one lifer, the person that He has for you, to live with for the rest of your life, basically, you can end up not only damaging them, but you can end up damaging yourself even further. And I feel like just take the time out to love you, because nobody else love you. I mean, outside of God, nobody else love you but you. Don't nobody know you like you. And I feel like at the end of the day, if people would if people would practice self-love a little bit more, I feel like we'll begin to see a little bit more successful relationships, successful marriages. And it's really it really, yes, it's difficult being honest with ourselves, and that's the problem. We don't want to be honest. We don't want to accept accountability. We don't want to accept responsibility, and we don't want to communicate. I mean, we be real about it. I feel like we, as the African American community, we have a huge problem communicating. We reserve. We want to hold things in. We want people to be psychic readers, and it's like, no, you got to communicate.
Mm-hmm.
And that's one of the things that you have to realize about healthy dating is you got to communicate, put it all out there, so that when you get married, potentially, you won't have to be caught off guard and say, whoa, like, I ain't see this when we dated, like, where this came from. And I think that's what many people really trip on when it comes to dating. They don't want to talk about it. They don't want to communicate. And everything can be solved with communication. And my marriage counselor, they told me and my wife, when they was counseling us, they said the number one reason for divorces is not money, it's lack of communication.
Oh yeah.
Everything can be solved through communication. You having issues with money, communicate. You having issues with trust, communicate. You having issues with intimacy, communicate. If you having issues with whatever, communicate, talk about it. And don't be afraid to get to the root of things. Don't be afraid to get to the bottom line, so that you can be able to get on the same page, and you won't have to go through the same things again in the future. I think Courtney was about to say something. You can go on.
I am. I just want to add to, because that's such a important piece. It's probably one of the most important pieces, communication. But what I wanted to say is, and you're right, we don't. Communication is something that we have to practice. You got to practice at it, because as easy as people think it is, sometimes it's not easy. Sometimes it's hard to articulate what the matters of your heart, or what you're feeling, or what you're trying to say. So what I have learned is you have to practice communicating. Because a lot of times we are communicating, we're just not communicating with words.
Mm-hmm.
Our behaviors is a form of communication.
Mhm.
Definitely. Yeah.
Our actions are a form of communication. I could be cheating, and that's a form of communication. I'm showing you that I'm missing something here, so I'm going to try to find it somewhere else. Instead of telling you, hey, I'm missing XYZ, or hey, can you? So we have to learn, we have to practice communicating with words instead of communicating through behaviors or actions. I saw a comment that popped up, and one of the ways to practice communicating is verbalizing your boundaries. I saw someone say it, I can't remember, but they were talking about the importance of boundaries. And it is so very important. So, one thing that I'm doing right now is not only did I establish the boundary, because establishing them are easy,
Sure.
enforcing them
That's
ain't
another
so
thing.
easy.
Yep.
Talk
Exactly.
about it.
So, one thing that I'm doing, even right now, currently, I decided I'm not ready to be in a committed relationship right now. I'm a transparent person. Anybody who's watching that knows me. They'll tell you, Courtney is very transparent. She'll, I'm an open book, right? So one of my boundaries right now is I don't want to be in a committed relationship. I don't mind getting to know somebody, or going out casually. But as far as being serious and committed, I don't want that right now, because there's a certain area in my life that I feel like I need God to fill. No, nobody's going to be able to fill that for me. Nothing will be able to fill that but God. So I'm intentionally establishing and enforcing that boundary. Hey, I'm only going to go so far because I'm not ready for that. So I communicate that because I don't want anybody who is ready to be committed to waste their time with me because I'm not. You see what I'm saying? So it's like, in order to establish something healthy, like, it goes back to honesty, it goes back to those boundaries, but it all boils back down to communication. You have to communicate that, because people aren't going to know if you don't tell them. And then we get in trouble because we don't say it, even though we feel it. We don't say it. And then we get down in the middle of this thing, and it's like, and it's like, well, you didn't tell me that. You didn't tell me you didn't want to be good. If you had told me, I could have went on about my business, or I could have did, you know. So it all goes back to verbally. I think that verbally communicating or practicing that is very important, because if we don't, then it's grounds for an unhealthy situation.
And I want to throw this in here from what you just said. Another thing about when you communicate, whether it's a good or bad thing, make sure that you are accountable in the situation, or you can receive that maybe I made that mistake, because some people can communicate it when it's not their fault, or they'll feel like they're in the right. You gotta sometimes know that, hey, sometimes I made a mistake. Maybe I need to find out where, from a woman's perspective, what my guy thought I did wrong, from a guy perspective, what my girl thought I did wrong. You got to be willing to understand that there are mistakes that you make, and you got to be accountable, because if not, that can be a problem in a relationship if you're not willing to take accountability, because the individual could feel like they never accept when they're wrong. I just want to throw that in there real quick.
No, 1000%.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so many wrinkles that could be ironed out, or hurdles that could be overcome in relationships, if people were willing to have tough conversations or awkward conversations. And it's like I think it's natural, obviously, to avoid difficult situations or difficult conversations, but that's absolutely necessary in relationships. Like, relationships just aren't, it's not just vacations and all that stuff, all the glitz and glamour, like all the fun stuff. It's not just that. You're going to have challenging times. And, you have to approach it in a healthy way and have open two-way communication, with the person that you're involved with, in order for your relationship to be successful. And, Courtney said something about, establishing boundaries. And it's one thing to establish the boundary, but it's another thing to, like, respect the boundary. And there's so many people out here that are operating from a place where they see a red flag in somebody else, but then they're willing to compromise on that based on, other like, a woman might be dealing with a man, and he might be really financially stable, and in a position where he can help her, be an asset to her in that way. But he's a dog, and she knows he's a dog, and cheating and just doing whatever he wants, and she's willing to deal with all of the cheating and all that stuff based on um, how he can help her financially, knowing that she's not happy. But on the outside, or on social media, she's posting gifts, or posting the gifts that he buys her, and all these happy moments like date nights and all this other stuff. But inside, just completely unhappy because she's not being respected in a relationship. And that's just one example. But it's like when you see the red flag, and when people show you who they are, believe it. Like it's not people. People at our age, it takes a lot of work for a person to really take inventory and work on themselves, and they have to want to do it. There's no external factor that's going to make somebody want to change. They have to want to change themselves. And so when somebody shows you who they are, believe them and know that
Absolutely.
the behavior is there unless they don't want it to be.
Facts.
Yeah. Yeah, y'all saying a mouthful right now, but you gotta. I mean, it goes back to knowing your worth.
Yeah,
I mean, you at the end of the day, you are worth, and I don't care what anybody says. I mean, you got to tell yourself, I am worth somebody tell me the truth. I am worth being loved the right way. I am worth it. I'm not worth getting beat on. I'm not worth getting physically abused, mentally abused, emotionally abused, spiritually abused. I'm not worth that. And that's one of the things that we have to come to grips with when it comes to those boundaries. If the person loves you, they're going to respect those boundaries, and they're not just going to respect those boundaries because it's going to help you, but at the end of the day, it's going to help them as well. It's going to help them grow. It's going to help them get cultivated. It's going to help them mature. And we just have to get to the bottom line. It's like, are we going to date intentionally? Because if we not, you just wasting my time.
yep,
And you see many people, because they trying to make somebody else happy, they'll do the things that they just like to do just to keep them at bay. You know, I used to do that stuff. I could be transparent. I used to do that stuff in my marriage at times. Oh, well, let me just do this so that she don't holler at me. Not realizing why I should be doing that stuff. Not realizing that, hey, not only is it helping my wife, but it's helping me,
yeah,
because it's unlocking a new door in me. It's unlocking new talents in myself that I ain't even know. And we have to be open to growth, even if it hurts. Accept the truth.
hmm,
And that's another thing I had difficulty accepting. And I'm not gonna lie. Sometimes I still have, a tendency not to accept the truth. But I've come a long way compared to where I was. And I'm now at a place to where I can accept the truth, even when it hurts. Because like they say, the truth hurts. It really does, but it'll set you free. The
absolutely,
truth will show you about you. And sometimes when people are dating, they don't want that mirror on themselves. They want to show it's easier to show the mirror on somebody else. But when it's time for you to go face to face with that mirror, and yourself, your true self gets revealed, then that becomes difficult to look at. Not knowing that at the end of the day, you can do something about that to change that. Every deficiency, every flaw in yourself, you're able to do something about it. You don't have to be dishonest. You don't have to be a liar for the rest of your life. You don't have to be an abuser for the rest of your life. You don't have to be a thief for the rest of your life. You can change that. You can change that. But that's the thing. You have to change that. Not nobody else, not the one that you're dating. You have to change that. And that's a unhealthy expectation that people that's dating, they put on other people at times. They expect the other people to change them instead of the person changing themselves. And I just want to throw another thing out there. Y'all don't be listening to social media. Don't be fooled about what you see on social media, because we had an episode about this one time. And
yeah,
you know social media has tripped a whole bunch of people up. It really has. Social media is not authentic. I'm not saying all social media is unauthentic, because there are some genuine couples out there that's really living the life that they show on social media. I know a couple, but to the other people out here that they're showing something for the glitz and the glamour and the attention, the likes and the shares and the comments, don't listen to them, because you will find yourself trying to manufacture something in somebody else's image, and God didn't attention, he didn't have the attention of you in that relationship to be in that image. You don't know that person from a can of paint. You don't know the trouble that they've been through to get to where they are. You don't know what they had to deal with. So why would you try to emulate something that's not you? God purposefully orchestrates a relationship for you, just as he created you and he created other person that you're with and potentially is going to get married to. He creates and cultivates the relationship and the marriage that works for the both of you. So we can't be out here trying to copy what somebody else is doing. We have to be original, be an OG.
Yeah, be authentic. Yeah,
Yeah, be authentic. Y'all can roll.
I want to talk to the ladies about something, because I just got a message literally in real time. And as I was sitting here thinking about it, I wanted to go back to the Don, you hit on it basically when you were just saying about that mirror piece where you have to look in the mirror. And I said it earlier, you have to basically take inventory of your own life, look at yourself, and heal and ask God to help you heal in places where you're broken, and so on and so forth. And so accountability is a huge problem for a lot of people. That's both men and women, but I want to talk about it. It's absolutely necessary. We have to be accountable, right? We have to be accountable. But as women, we tend to be a little more emotional than men. And so what I want to say and encourage the ladies watching, there is a line between accountability and condemnation, and the enemy whispering things and trying to torment you with things of your past, things that you've done. Like Don said, just because you were a liar doesn't mean you always have to be a liar. Just because you may have been unfaithful in the past doesn't mean that you have to carry that scar or carry that burden with you for over into your next relationship. So the important piece about accountability is, yes, I did it. So I want to say right here on open air, to anybody that I'm mature enough to say that I have hurt people in my life. I'm mature enough to say that I didn't always get it right. Yes, I cheated. Yes, I was unfaithful. Yes, I've hurt people unintentionally. And some people, let's be real, I hurt them on purpose because I was broken. So these are my confessions. this is my this is me holding myself accountable for the things that I have done that hurt other people. And the reason why I'm in this posture that I'm in, and taking my time and not rushing into anything, is because I never want to do it again. I'm not carrying that with me. I'm not taking it with me. I want a healthy relationship. If the Lord desires for me to be married again, I want a healthy marriage the next go around. And so, I just feel like accountability is it's good. We need to do it. But be mindful of those people that whisper and say things that's accusatory, because I feel like accountability says, hey, I did this, I'm sorry, and I want to be better,
Yeah.
But then condemnation just always continues to whisper what you did.
Mm-hmm.
It won't turn you loose. That's not God. That's not God. That's not God. And so what I want to say is, don't find yourself in that place. If you've messed up, baby, let me tell you something. We're all human. We're going to mess up. We're going to mess up at some point in time. No relationship is ever going to be perfect. There's going to be kinks. There's going to be setbacks, but if you fall, don't stay down. Get up, dust yourself off, hold yourself accountable, apologize to who you need to apologize to, and move on. Don't get stuck, and don't allow a person to make you stay stuck. If you're with a partner and they decide, well, what you did, I can't, continue on with you, or I can't forgive you, I can't, respect it and go your separate ways. If the person decides that they're going to stay and forgive you, but yet they still continue to over and over and over, then you need to walk away because that ain't for you. Because you can't get past something if somebody keeps throwing it back, in your face. So,
That's right.
accountability, yes. But I also just wanted to hit on the that thin line because sometimes, you can hold yourself accountable, but the enemy will try to hold you captive and try to keep you and make you feel like there's no change for you. Devil is a liar. Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Yeah.
And you don't have to live in your mistakes. You don't have to live there. You can move at any time. So, if you're on the other side of this thing and you might be like, well, I was once that cheater, I was once that liar, I once did this. You don't have to stay there. And it's still hope for you. You can still have love again.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. Y'all know how we do, Uh I never shy away of going to the spiritual aspect because there's always, that's my first and foremost. That's the primary for me. It's that spiritual aspect. And it just goes back to that self-love. You have to realize who God created you to be. God created you to be a king, a queen. We see it all the time. Oh, what's up, king? How you doing, queen? But are you really that? Are you really exhibiting that on a daily basis? See, we have to stop using these cliches as cliches and start speaking those things as though they are. You know what I'm saying? We have to, if you're gonna call yourself a king, you gotta operate as a king, you gotta behave as a king, you gotta carry yourself as a king. If you're gonna be a queen, you gotta carry yourself as a queen. And it just goes back to that self-love, that self-worth. You got to tell yourself, I am worth being loved the right way. I am worthy of being told the truth. I am worthy of being honest. And so at the end of the day, can't nobody do it for you. And I know many people like, what does God do with healthy dating? It has a lot to do with healthy dating.
Yeah.
Because in healthy dating, is accountability. In healthy dating, there's commitment. And healthy dating, there has to be a mutual understanding of what each other wants. And it can't be, yes, you're going to be different because every relationship with two of the same people, I feel like that's boring. You're not learning anything, you're not growing. So you're both going to be different, but at the same time, those core things, the standard, that has to be the same. And if the standard is not lined up, if you're not sticking to the standard, then there's no use for you to continue the relationship. There's no continuous of you dating because what's the point? What is the standard? The standard is the standard honesty, or it's the standard dishonor. It's
I
the
got a good
standard
one, y'all.
respect,
I got a good one.
or is the standard disrespect. I mean, you gotta be real. Gotta be real.
Watch out too for repeated, for example, like just take inventory of all of your relationships, right? This is something that I'm learning to do. Take inventory of them all. Do you find yourself in the same situation
Yes.
with different people?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
If the answer is yes, then that's one of those times we got to take out the mirror. We
Mhm.
got to ask ourselves, what is it in us that we keep getting caught up in the same situation? My mom used to tell me, and I mean I've heard several people say it. God will give you, if until you get what you need to get, He will allow you to keep taking the same test over and over with different faces.
Yeah.
Same test, just a different face. So sometimes with these relationships, when we find ourselves like, dang, how did I end up in this again? They all end the same. They all start the same. They all, whatever the case may be, it's the same. At that point, that accountability piece got to come in. Hey, well, what am I doing? What is it in me that's causing me to keep God? We got to talk to God, y'all. I mean, let's just be real.
Yeah. Yeah.
We want to talk to everybody else, all these relationships or whatever, but we don't want to talk to God. God,
The main
what is it,
relationship.
big homie? What am I doing? What is it that you're trying to get me to learn that I keep failing the test So you keep giving it to me again because you want me to pass. You want me to pass. So what is it that I need to change about me? What is it that I need to see? And if you talk to God, I promise y'all, I'm a witness. He'll talk back. He'll talk back. And he'll tell you what it is. He'll show you what it is inside of you. And if you give that thing to him, he'll start to work on you and work that thing out so that you can finally pass the test and be free from that same mundane cycle.
Yeah.
And you can actually get to what he has for you. Because that's
Right.
another problem. We be out here going and picking these people on our own. God ain't so. I'm talking to ladies now, because you know the Bible said man who finds a wife. So I'm talking to the ladies. Y'all, we be a lot of these times we be out here, we pick that mess. God ain't sent that to us. We go and pick it. We do that to ourselves.
Yeah. Yeah.
Have you talked to God about it? One of the things I do now when I meet people, I be like, okay, God, what is this person? Why did you send them into my life? What's my purpose for them? What's their purpose for me? Because see, a lot of times we be out here falling for folks that God just intended for us to be their friend. Now we out here in love with somebody we weren't supposed to even go there with. But we did it. So ask
Yeah.
God, talk to God. Very important for healthy rest. Talk to God. Hey God, what is this person's purpose in my life? What am I supposed to do for them? What are they supposed to do for me? If we do that and we're not so impulsive and just, you know, rushing into stuff, that's another
Mm.
problem. We rush very, very much so. We just rush into stuff for no
Yeah.
reason.
Yeah.
Don't rush. Just talk to God. Hey God, let's talk about this person. You know, don't let me fall for nobody that you didn't design for me.
That's good. That's
Don't
good.
let me fall for them.
Mm-mm. That's good right there. That's good. Now you got something to say? You've been quiet for the past few minutes.
I've been over here taking in this good word,
Oh, yo,
honestly.
take it in. Take it
But
in, brother.
but I truly do agree with everything that Courtney is saying, especially from a perspective of making sure that you sometimes take that time out and look in the mirror, get to know you first, get to know where you see yourself in this relationship world. Because one thing about it, a lot of times we get out here and say we're ready because either A, sometimes you're getting pushed out there, B, sometimes you're not sure, but you're like, okay, I want to go ahead and make this move because I'm looking at my age. I got the threes in front of me. So I need to have this family time. I need to have this here. I need to have this. When in fact, you don't always have to make yourself rush, because I've seen people get into something and say, why did I get into this so soon? This person was not for me. Or they'll feel that because they've seen past people or people around their life or people in their family go through something in particular, that it's a comfortable area when it's not. You got to make sure that you know what works for you and what is healthy for you, because you don't want to find yourself in a situation where you're even dealing with a toxic individual, because sometimes that can ruin your future in regards to wanting to give anybody else an opportunity in a healthy relationship. So you must make sure that you set, and don't think that it's a bad thing to set a standard for yourself and for the individual. They might even know that you have that standard for them, but sometimes you have to know where you stand going forward into a relationship, because a lot of times people will sometimes settle instead of speaking or communicating on what they truly desire. So make sure that
Amen.
the person
Like,
that you reach, that you two reach that common goal of, maybe we make this sacrifice together. Maybe we make this certain standard together, because the biggest mistake is selling then for years down the road. It still don't make me happy, but I just want to say I'm in this relationship. I want to say I'm in this marriage. I want to say I'm in this because of the ultimate goal. No, make sure that that is established from the beginning. I seen a comment say that earlier, and I'll just come back. But
Oh,
going forward, is you definitely deserve that right to say I'm not happy with this in particular. So you two can get to the drawing board and go back and become stronger and wiser. Because I'm sure, Don, I know you're married. I'm sure at the end of the day, you and your wife go to the drawing board sometimes where there are certain things that you may not necessarily agree on, and it makes you stronger and wiser. Sometimes
Mm-hmm.
adversity makes your relationship stronger.
Like, what the
So,
heck is that?
so don't be willing to skip those things. Make sure
Yeah.
that you go through the great things together and also work through the bad things together, because a lot of times people will mask a certain thing just to say, okay, we're in this thing together. And then that ultimately become the demise of their relationship.
Mm-hmm.
I guess that's what I want to share for the moment. I'm gonna pass it.
No, you good. I just wanted to illuminate this. And y'all on point right away. We've been on point all night long. Another sister of mine's right here. Does she said often something that's in us draws what's in the person, good or bad, but something somewhere is in agreement with what they and you are carrying. Recognize residue is vital. Recognizing residue, that is so true. We have to recognize that thing that is attracting us to that person. What is it? What is it in us that's attracting the toxicity? What is it in us that's attracting us getting beat on and smacked around? What is it in us? Something's got beaten in there. This person ain't just pop up out of nowhere. Something in you came into agreement with something in them. And now you in this quote unquote relationship that's, I mean, it's a relationship, but it's an unhealthy relationship.
Yeah.
It's not is producing nothing but hurt. It's producing nothing but strife, and it may not show that at the moment, but it will eventually. Once those materialistic things that we hold so near and dear to us fades away, and all you have is you and the person, you ain't gonna have nothing, because the thing that held y'all together has faded away, and we have to make sure that whatever is holding us together, that is something of substance. It's something that is beneficial to both of you guys, well, both of us, and it's something that's gonna produce some fruit. We see all these relationships out here that looks fruitful, but at the end of the day, there's no fruit on that tree. That's fake fruit. That's turf. That's turf. That's the fake grass over there. They say, people say all the time, "Oh, grass is green on the other side." It's not. Sometimes it's not. Sometimes, and I said this one time having a conversation with somebody. I said, if the grass looks green on the other side, then what's stopping you from making your grass green? What's stopping you from watering your garden? What's stopping you from tending to what God got for you? What God gave you? If God gave it to you, you say God gave it to you. Then why are you not watering the garden? Why are you not putting fertilizer on your own grass? Why are you so concerned about the other person's grass and their grass looking green? And although you got brown grass, it's still grass. You can bring that grass back to life, but you got to be able to put in the work.
Yeah.
And that's why we don't see so many healthy dating relationships right now, because nobody want to put in the work. The first sign of trouble, people want to quit. They want to throw in the towel. And I'm not saying there's going to be instances where you got to throw in the towel, because the standards are not lining up. But at the first sight of trouble, if you guys have already come to this mutual understanding that, hey, we got something here, we got chemistry, there's a commitment here, and the first sign of trouble, you ready to throw in the towel, then what are you doing? What was your relationship really built upon? Was it built upon something? Was it built upon a rock, or was it built upon clay? Was it built upon quicksand? Like, we have to get, and another thing is with dating, we have to stop. We have to stop with the microwave mentality. When you put stuff in the microwave and you heat up for a quick, yes, it's smoking the plate, it's hot, but you put your finger in that food, it's still
The
cold.
middle be cold.
Middle be cold.
Cold.
Healthy relationships, it's gonna require you to be put in the oven. When you put something in the oven, it's gonna cook for a long time. It's gonna simmer. That's because it has to be thoroughly cooked. Most of us don't want to be thoroughly cooked. We don't want to be cooked all the way. We want it just to have the outward appearance. Oh, I got it all together, but your inside jacked up. You don't know how to take responsibility. You don't know how to take accountability. You don't know how to be honest. You don't know how to be real. You don't even love yourself. But on the outside, you got it all together. What it seems like you got it all together, but on the inside you jacked up. Instead of you just taking the time out, allowing God, who's supposed to be our primary relationship in the first place, to go on the inside of you, clean all that out, filter you out, so that you can be ready for a healthy relationship. You can be ready to healthily date somebody. But we don't want to go through that. Sometimes we don't want to go through that process because it takes too long. Oh, God, I want to be with somebody now. I want to get married now. And you can't be pressured into marriage. Marriage is not pressured. You can't be pressured into dating, because when you're pressured, you're not going to enjoy it. You're not going to see no fulfillment from it. You just together. But what are you together for? What's the reason that you're together? Just to be together so that you won't feel lonely? She won't feel lonely, he won't feel lonely? Or are you together because, hey, we got something going here, we got chemistry, I feel God in this? So we just have to learn to include God in everything. Include God in your life, include God in your relationships, because he want to be there. He wants to be there. Hey, I know the right way to do it. Did I not show it in the beginning? Did I not show it? I'm showing it now. So do it his way. But takes us at the end of the day. Can't nobody else do it but us. So
very true.
So let me ask you: do y'all three feel that at times that's the number one thing that's missing is God in these relationships?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. When you look at the concept of marriage, relationship period, you know, in the Bible it says that Jesus is the bridegroom, and the church, which is us, it's not a building, it's us. You know, we're his bride. So that means that when he created marriage, it was supposed to be a representation of the relationship that we're supposed to have with him, and you know, us and him. But you see nowadays people have misconstrued that and try to put a whole malfunctional standard on that. You know, marriages ain't all about who makes the most money. It's not about who can cook better. You know, it's not about who can give the best sex and all this type. It's not about that. It's about you loving me, I loving you. You obey, you respect my boundaries, I respect your boundaries. It's got to be a mutual commitment there. So I definitely feel like when you include God in dating, it goes a lot better, because while you getting worked on, you never know, God might be working on the other person. If God has put that person in your life for you to date, not only date but potentially get married with, they're gonna get worked on too, just as well as you are. So yeah, definitely include God.
Yeah, I think. I mean, because I think it's just really important, whether it's spiritually, ethically, morally, just making sure whatever it is that kind of centers you as a person, making sure that you see that in the person that you're trying to date, especially if it's a serious situation. And if it is serious and you don't see that in them, then move on. It's not for you, regardless of what other regardless of what other things might be in play or what else attracts you to that other person. You know, if it's not in them, just move on, because otherwise you're just wasting your time.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I do think God is missing. I also think, that self love component. But at the end of the day, it always goes back to God, because God is love. And so
Mhm.
I feel that God is the ultimate missing piece when it comes to toxic relationships, unhealthy relationships. You just always have to, again, ask God, consult God, like, hey, what would you have me to do? Who do you have for me? If we ask those questions up front, then we can almost save ourselves from those traumatic experiences. Um, yeah, just by putting God first. Like we say it all the time. We want to put God first with everything else. I
Jesus,
trust
take the
God with my
wheel.
business. I trust God with this. I trust God with that. But then when it comes to your partner, and
Mm,
all of a sudden you can't trust God, that
come
you can't
on.
wait for God to give you trust him with everything else.
Mm.
Why not trust him with that? You gonna trust him with everything or trust him with nothing?
Yeah.
So I just feel like we need to, be open to giving that to him as well, and not just trying to take matters into our own hands. Because when we do that, man, let me tell you, y'all, I'm telling you from experience, get it out of my hands, Jesus. I'm a mess up every time. Boy, I sure know how to pick them. I tell you the truth. So yeah, I would say that God is yes.
And I also agree with that too, because I feel like sometimes when we do say, "Oh, we're gonna put God first," we pray about it, and then you may get the response back of, "All right, I'm have some issues within myself." You're like, "Oh, I don't know what they're talking about," because you want it to fit your narrative. That's another thing that some people have to make sure they don't do. Don't ask for God's help on it, and then when it comes back that maybe it's something I need to work on internally, it's like, I don't want to do that. It's not me. Maybe
It's that right. It's the
yeah.
accountability piece. We don't want to do it. We don't want to hold ourselves accountable. And another thing, we got to stop putting God in a box. We got to stop the person that God has for us, ladies. He might not be 6'10" with big biceps. He might be a little something. It might go against what we feel like we want. But guess what? That might be the man that loves you unconditionally. That might be the man that takes care of you, and God know that He's going to take care of your heart and take care of you. Know what I'm saying? It might not always look like what we feel like it should look like.
Right. Yeah.
So we
Yeah.
got to keep that in mind too. I'm learning. But when you pray, if you sincerely pray, I believe God will give you the desires of your heart. So while you praying, God send me the right person. Be like, God, well, can you make sure they got a little bit of what make them look like a little bit of what I want them to look like? You know what I'm saying? I believe He will honor that.
Yeah. Yeah. That's true. That's true. And it's all about following his will. Whatever his will is for the relationship that he has, you got to do it. You have to do it. And like Courtney said, we just as human beings, we have this habit of wanting to be in control. Well, God, he don't have this, but if I can change him, no,
Yeah.
no, no, God, no, no. God said you did not create that person. I did. I created that person in my image, not your image, my image. And we have issue. Some people have issue with that sometimes. We want to create people in our image, but who we want them to be. And it's like, no, you have to love that person where they are.
Mhm.
And even if they're not changing at your pace, at the speed in which you want them to change. And that's another thing. We have to stop expecting people to change when we want them to change. No, everybody, including yourself, have a process. All of us are work under construction. We are
Right.
under construction. We're not perfect. We're not without flaws. I mean, we do have flaws. We're not perfect, but at the same time, God still worked with us. So why can you not allow that person to go through their process? Well, they
Right.
not changing at the pace to where I want them to change. I feel like he's supposed to be here, and it's been these amount of years. No, 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 no. You 40, 50 years old, God's still working on you. So what makes you think he can't work on that person? What makes you think they can't change? And then so we have to we say, and it goes back to what I said earlier. We have to stop saying these cliches. Jesus, take the wheel. Jesus said, give me the wheel. You still got your hand on the wheel. When you gonna give it to me? Sometimes we don't want to ride in that passenger seat, because in the passenger seat, you don't have no control over that wheel. You have no control over that car. You don't know how you won't have no control over how fast it's going. You just riding. God says, just ride, just chill, relax. I got this.
Relax.
Relax. I got this. If God, we have to understand, God is not going to tell us to do something that's going to hurt us. He is not going to tell us to go with somebody that's going to hurt us. He's going to lead us in the right direction. If God is not going to tell you something to do something that's not going to benefit you. The enemy ain't gonna tell you to do something that's gonna benefit you. He gonna tell you something that's gonna, it may look like it's gonna benefit you at first, but in the end, it's gonna hurt you. In the end, it's gonna bring some suffering. In the end, it's gonna have you set back a couple of yards. But at the same time, we have to decipher who's talking, who's in our ears. Is it God or is it the enemy?
Right.
Because the enemy will tell you what you want, but God tell you what you need. And sometimes we have to decipher the needs from the wants. Yeah, I want her to have this Coca-Cola shaped body. I want him to be 6'5", 250, muscles all over the place, chocolate. But that might not be what God got for you.
Mm-hmm.
He might got a 5'10", 280, he got a beer belly, you know, but at the same time, he gonna treat you good. At the same time, that's who God got for you. Yeah, she might not have the cocoa body, she might have a potato body, but
Not the
God still
potato.
Not the potato.
but
Not
I'm
the
just
potato. Not this potato head. Jesus.
but I'm just saying, but that might be the person that God's got for you. And there's still an opportunity for them to change. There is a such thing called a gym. There's a such thing that's called, working out. But you can't pressure that person to working out. I mean, you can encourage them, but you can't pressure them because at the end of the day, it's gonna take that person. And I'm talking to myself right now to go to the gym. But I'm getting there. I'm getting there. Don't worry about it. I'm getting there. So, but you got to know who what God got for you. You gotta be attentive to have his ear to his mouth and let
And
him. Yeah, go ahead.
another thing is too, we have to stop. I was listening to you talk, and you were so correct in everything you were saying. But as you were talking, I was actually thinking about, especially with the not giving up so easily and not walking away. I was actually thinking about in terms of marriage, and it brought me to this point.
Mm-hmm.
In healthy relationships, you can have them, but we got to stop treating relationships like marriages and stop treating marriages like relationships. We go into these relationships and we doing all of this stuff and we're treating it like marriage. God ordained marriages. You know what I'm saying? Like
Mm-hmm.
marriages are special to him. And I ain't gonna lie, y'all, I had to go through one to and lose one to really gain the understanding of what marriage means to God.
Mm-hmm.
And I had it all wrong. I had it all wrong. But we treat these relationships like marriages, and it's just like, no, a relationship is a relationship. You're leading up to something, but it's not a marriage. You're not married to this person. But then we get into marriages, and then we want to treat that like a relationship. And well, if something don't go my way, well, I'll just leave. You know what I'm saying? That's not how it works. That's not how it's supposed to work.
Right.
So it's like we got to keep both of them into perspective. When you're dating, treat it as such.
Mm-hmm.
And then if you make it to a point of being married, treat it as such. You know what I'm saying? Like we
Yeah.
just be like, it's almost like we work backwards. We in these relationships and we want to treat them like husbands and wives. Then when we finally do make them husbands and wives, we want to treat them like boyfriend girlfriend.
Yeah.
And just give up and walk away. It makes no sense.
Yeah.
That's one backwards. Yeah.
And the thing about it is they don't stop when you get married.
Wow.
Going to the movies, treating her out, treat him out. That don't stop when you get married. It just shifts to a whole different. It shifts to a deeper perspective. The intentionality, the intimacy, the getting to know that person. Because even when you get married, the pursuit don't end. The chase does not
It
end.
don't
It's a forever long process. When you get married, you are dating that person for life. It's
ever,
not just
forever.
it's not just a commitment, it's a covenant. And God honors covenant. When you
Yeah.
at that altar, you make a vow. People break promises all the time, but a vow you cannot break because God really cherishes that. He really does. And one thing at the end of the day is we 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 see so many divorces all over the place, and it makes me think, okay, what was they building when they was dating? What type of standards, what conversations did they dodge when they were dating? Because something had to happen between them dating and between them getting married. That was like they just put a blind over their eyes or whatever, and it just went up on the rug. If y'all got to talk about it, talk about it. Whether it's big or small, talk about everything. Lay it all on the table. When you're dating, it's like an interview. When you go to a job interview, they're gonna ask you, do you have experience in this? What would you do in this situation? What would you do in that situation? What equipment do you know how to operate? What can you be able to effectively do this job to the utmost potential? It's the same thing as dating. What do you do in this situation? How do you respond in this situation? Sometimes you got to test people. You got to test the other person and while you're dating so that you can know what they're made of. You to see what type of strength they really got. And I'm not saying just go out here and just do whatever, go out here, steal the car or whatever one day, and then y'all gonna be in a whole bunch of trouble. But I'm just saying, test them, challenge them, right? Test them, challenge them, challenge their mind, get into the mind, get into the root of the thing. Why did you react this way when you got upset? Why did you do this when I did this? Was it a trigger? Was it a red flag? Was it what can we talk about? How can we talk about this? How can we get to the bottom line of this? And so we have to not be afraid to get challenged when dating, because that's what healthy dating consists of. It's a challenge. It's getting to know the other person intentionally, not just knowing the person just to put a ring on their finger and now all of a sudden you're focused on the honeymoon. That's not how dating works. Dating is getting to know that person on an intimate level to really see, okay, is this person ready? Is this person ready for marriage? Are they willing to walk down the aisle with me? Are they willing to live life with me? That's what healthy dating looks like. That's what commitment looks like. That's what chemistry looks like. Healthy chemistry, because there is a such thing as unhealthy chemistry. You can't go out here and mix bleach with ammonia and think you're gonna have a healthy chemical. No, you're gonna end up blowing up something.
Yeah,
you're gonna end up,
killing yourself.
Exactly, you're gonna end up killing yourself. And we have to stop. And that's a good point you just made. We have to stop building these unnecessary concoctions while dating. If you dating a person that don't like to watch sports, and you like to watch sports, that should be a compromise right there. But that shouldn't cause you to break up. Yeah, I like playing video games. You don't like playing video games, but there should be a compromise there. And that's so important. When standards are relaxed to get a person, you will continue to compromise your standards during a relationship. Yep, that's exactly true. That's exactly true. And the more you compromise, the more of yourself you'll begin to lose. The more of your standards you'll begin to lose just to satisfy the other person. And now you're left empty, depleted, exhausted, because now you done poured out to this person, poured out your love, poured out your compromise, poured out your standards, and you're not getting that back. That's draining. That's draining. So you gotta know what you want.
You gotta ask this. Court, since we have you on here, I want to ask you from a woman's perspective. And I know,
challenge her.
And I know Dunn and may this might be intriguing for them. So I want you to give some advice for guys where, of course, as a guy, when you go into dating a girl, you start doing certain things a certain way to kind of impress them to get there. But sometimes if they get, how I want to put this, if they do certain things to impress you to get into a relationship, then they start slacking off on what earned the relationship in the first place. What would be your advice to guys that are striving to do that? Or how would you say they need to go by being consistent when stepping into this dating pool, and how to remain consistent when they do actually get into a relationship? It could be something small, like you bought flowers for once a week, or just something minor like that. But I wanted your take on that.
The best advice that I can give to a man, and again, now y'all have to remember, I'm not these young, I'm old and seasoned, okay? So like I can't speak on behalf of these little youngins, you know what I'm saying? But what I can tell you is that a real woman, an adult, a grown woman, a seasoned saint, amen?
Amen.
We are seeking a man just to be himself. Now, I want to put out this little caveat to say, and I know this is cliche, But trust me, I got a lot of people that'll testify. I'm not like most women. Okay. So I want to put that out there too. But I think it's safe to say, on behalf of all mature women, we want authenticity. We want you to be yourself. Don't, my mama always said, wise, very wise old woman. She said, don't start out with what you can't hold out with.
Come on.
Why in the world would you start off trying to impress me, spending all this money and this and this and that? Then when you get me, where the money go? Now, here's the thing. I didn't want you for the money from day one. I didn't want you for the money. You gave it to, you presented that to me.
Come on.
You showed that to me. I didn't ask you for it. I didn't want it. I just wanted to get to know you. But that was a part of you. You showed me that. You overindulged and you gave and you splurged and you did this. Then when you got me, now where did the money go? Because you introduced that. You introduced that to me. Versus you just
right there.
That was good. Don't introduce them to something you can't maintain. That's a word.
KD.
Put your cash app up, sis. Bro, I don't know if that's a man or woman. Put your cash app up. They need to send you an offering. You just gave a whole word in one comment.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like, don't do that. I would much rather you just be yourself. Be yourself. Be yourself. Be yourself. Let me fall in love with the person, not what you can do for me.
Yeah.
Once you fall in love with a person, the rest is easy. At that point, if I fall in love with you and I trust you're going to take care and you're going to do this and you're going to do that. But don't introduce me to that early, knowing good and well, one, you can't maintain it. Two, you're not going to be willing to maintain it. Don't do that. So yeah, be yourself. Be your most authentic self. If the woman can't love you for you, she don't deserve your gifts and money and all that extra stuff anyway. So why come out the gate trying to buy her, essentially, or buy her love or buy her attention, or all of that? Just be yourself. I promise you, if she's an authentic person, if she's an authentic woman, then she'd much rather be interested in just getting to know who you are without all of the extra. And that's not to say you can't never do anything nice for her now, y'all. I'm not saying that. If you want to send flowers here and there, but I mean people going overboard. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've seen people just really pull out all the stops, and it's like, now, nigga, oh, I'm sorry. We on a
speak
public.
on it.
No, hey, say it.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
You are good. Speak on it.
Good. I promise you good.
she got comfortable.
Bro, you ain't finna hold that
comfortable. Up. Go ahead.
You ain't finna hold that up. Well, since we asking questions now, since we putting it out there, I want to ask y'all. Did I answer your question, Nate?
Yes, you did. You did an excellent job.
So I want to ask y'all, from a man's perspective, when it comes to dating, or what you guys are, expecting from a woman that you may be courting, getting to know. Like, what are some of the things that y'all look for, in terms of dating a woman? Like, what are you looking for? What's some deal breakers? Things of that sort. Not you, Don. You married. Don't talk.
No, I was gonna let them go last anyway.
There, she gonna don't you talk it out.
Trying to talk to the other two. She right here too. I ain't gonna say nothing.
blink twice if you're okay.
Yeah.
No, I mean I'm in a long-term relationship as well, but I think that for me, like, when you're first, dating someone, honesty is super important. Someone who is willing to show you who they are, and being authentic, not propping themselves up or trying to present something that they know you like, What do you got, Nate? Well, I think through some
I,
other.
I guess I would say for me is several things. I want to see a person that's goal oriented in her dreams. I would love to see. I want to see a woman that's out here that's independent. You know, certain guys are gonna say like, of course you want to take care of your lady, but I want her to have her own goals. I want to see some of the great things that she possesses,
Yeah.
bringing into the relationship. Us coming together to be one collective. Us being able to grow through the great times, through the rough times, because a lot of times I think it's beauty when you see a couple go through the great times, the struggles, and see where they got to the next level together. Whether they pushed each other to go after that opportunity in life, or he pushed her, she pushed him. I think that's some of the things that I want to see. I want to see a God-fearing woman. That's one of my top things I gotta have. If she's not a God-fearing woman and she don't set a standard for herself, that is a deal breaker. Because at the end of the day, your standard that you set for yourself shows me what you have in this collective unit that we're going to build together. Also take value into seeing how she, values the things in her life, from her career to her family to just those key things. Because when you grow up and you see a family of people that are in long-term marriages, long-term relationships. So some of the things you see that you want to see within your woman, some of those things you want to see her elevate you and you elevate her. So I guess those are some of the things, but the ultimate thing is being willing to go through every journey together, whether it's good or bad.
Yeah.
Because I feel that sometimes, as you all said earlier, that some people can't deal with adversity and they be quick to say, "Oh, I seen the first negative sign. I'm out of here." You
Mm-hmm.
can't be in that situation. It has to be where some things that you may never know. God might have put you in this individual's life to make. Oh man.
Come on, y'all. Y'all know we real. We real on this channel
Hey,
right
I
here.
love it. She
I
brought that
love
real
she
to it.
authentic. I love it. Down
That's
to
right.
earth. Yes.
Yeah.
But I would definitely say that. Oh, he said it right. I was just about to say that too. Personality, that's a great
Yeah.
thing, because for
Awesome.
me, I'm a family oriented guy. So I want my woman to come around me and be great with my family, great, because I'm big on family. So I don't want it to be a situation where you are completely turned off to my family from the start, because
Mhm.
that's something that turned me out of here quick. So I just want it to be a situation where a lot of things we come together and learn each other, and we learn as we going through this journey together. So I think those are some of the things that I would say.
Yeah, I mean, I think at the core of it, and Don mentioned this earlier, it's like I have to have someone that when we're both like old and gray, like we can still just genuinely enjoy each other's company. Like because you're gonna spend obviously a lot of time with this person. And if you can't at the core of it, if y'all just can't enjoy being in each other's presence, not going on a lavish date or a vacation or whatever, but just being able to sit and talk and just enjoy each other's company. I think that goes a long way and that takes you far. When I was first I did want to bring this up really quickly. Like when I was kind of looking up like different things kind of regarding the topic, I found a website that talked about the 5 C's of cultivating a loving and thriving relationship. And those 5 C's are chemistry, common goals, commitment, communication, and consensus. And I think all those things are pretty self-explanatory for the most part, but I want to touch on consensus really quickly, just because, hearing that word, you're not necessarily sure what direction they're going in. But I think consensus, based on what I read, is like, and they were just talking about this, is being able to work together. Like we're operating as a unit. So, regardless of what the situation may be, we're always looking at it from the aspect of we're a team, we're a united front, and presenting that united front to, the outside world, and not, you know, not allowing anybody to see, the differences that we may have behind the scenes, But in front of everyone and in front of the world, we need to present a united front so they understand that it's me and you, against the world. And I think people forget to operate like that, especially when, and Don and I talked about this in the previous podcast, but bringing, your business to social media. And, the thing, yeah, oversharing. And the thing about that, that's very, very dangerous, especially in a relationship, because you're letting the outside world know, like, hey, like there's some issues here. And someone with ill intentions can try to come in and take advantage of that. You know what I mean? Which can lead to ultimately the end of your relationship. So I think that was something I looked up that it really stood out to me.
That's good.
I mean, I can't answer the question because
I don't want you to answer. I don't want you to answer.
No,
I
we
didn't
don't
ask
need you
you,
answering
I
that
brother.
know,
question.
I know.
I wasn't talking to you. I
Yeah,
was talking to the other two.
right. I'll let y'all dating folks handle
Somebody just asked me to pay my Wi-Fi.
Yes.
Is that what I saw?
Yeah,
Is that back up? Let me see that again.
they're coming at your Wi-Fi.
Shoot, I don't think they come at the Wi-Fi. They shoot their shot.
Oh, they see the shot. Okay.
Yeah.
Yo.
They said I can maintain
You
that.
can maintain
Oh
it.
man.
ready for that. I
That's a
wasn't
Curry
ready.
shot.
Yo,
Woo! Boy, that's still
Yo.
Curry range right there.
that thing was good to
Pulled up
me.
from half court.
Yo.
Yeah.
Oh, did with a blindfold on.
I said, hey, yo.
Y'all wow, man. I can't come over here no more. Y'all wow.
Nah, we love
Your
you. We
viewers
love you
are
No,
though.
we
wild.
love having you on
Everybody
here.
Hey, the chat loves you. Hey,
Yes, they do.
that-
They
wow,
do.
the
man.
chat loves you. They really do. That's how they are every single time we come up on here, and we love y'all, chat. We really love y'all. We appreciate
That's
y'all,
what's up.
man. We appreciate
That's
y'all.
what's
But
up.
y'all been talking good. Y'all been talking good because some of the things that y'all was naming, in a type of man, type of woman per se, that's the type of things I was looking for when I was dating. I was looking for a woman who loves God, a woman who respects me, a woman who covers me, a woman that won't show my flaws in public, a woman who loves her family, a woman who loves me, a woman who allows me to be myself. And that's the thing at the end of the day. If you allow the person to be themselves, you'll have a long lasting relationship. You'll have a healthy relationship. Just let the person be them.
Yeah.
Don't try to change them. Don't try to mold and shape them into who you want them to be. You're not the powder in this. God is. God's the powder and you're the
That's
clay.
it.
Just
That's
like
it.
God, just like you allow God to mold and shape you and to break you and mold and shape you again, let him do the same thing with that person. You don't if it's meant to be, you don't have to make that person to who you want to be because they will already be who you're looking for and much more. But you have to be willing to literally let Jesus take the wheel. Because
Yeah.
when I was back out there in the dating field and I was divorced, that's what I said. I said, God, work on me first. Show me who Dontario is. Show me the things that I need to work on. And as I begin to work on those things, you know, Jennifer just came out of nowhere, and we began
That's
to talk.
beautiful.
And she was just getting our relationship herself, and you know, fortunately, God made it a way we was attending the same ministry, and that's how we met. Not knowing that God was going to orchestrate all this, and we just celebrate our 6-year anniversary, and it's been beautiful. Thank you. It's been very beautiful. Yes, we've had our trials, we had our tribulations. We've had our moments where we said, I'm done with you, you done with me. Let's go. But we never left. We never
Right.
gave up. We never threw in a towel because we knew what our foundation was built upon, which is the word of God, which is the will of God. And we knew from day one that this is what God wanted out of the both of us. And it's all about sacrifice. Healthy relationships is all about sacrifice. You got to be willing to sacrifice You got to be willing to compromise. You can't have it your way all the time. It's not Burger
That's
King.
right.
Dating is not Burger King. You can't have your way. So if you're looking for a relationship that you always have your way, you don't need to be in a relationship. You don't need a date right now. Because when you when you date, especially when you get married, you sure enough can't have it your way. Like you can't look, I'm telling you, and we'll have to talk about that in another episode. We have to talk about marriage. But when you go into a relationship, you got to do a whole lot of sacrificing because it's not about you at that point. It's not about the other person. You have to make sure that the both of you are giving each other your needs. You have to give each other what you guys are looking for in the relationship. I can't expect for you to love root beer and you don't like root beer. You don't like root beer. I can't get you root beer. That's your boundary. So you gotta respect each other's boundaries. You gotta love the person, and no matter how messed up they are, if you both believe that God put y'all together, and that settles it. You just got to put in the work. I mean, that's all I got to say for right now. Just put in the work.
Facts.
Yep.
Just put in the work.
Yes, sir.
I've just been loving these comments, though. I've been loving these comments, talks on, pay that Wi-Fi.
Yo, that took me out. Thank you, sir. I missed your name. Thank you, sir. I am
I
flattered
think
by
that
the
was
offer. I
Ken.
really,
I think
Ken Jackson.
Yes,
Yeah,
yeah.
Mr. Jackson, thank you, sir.
Be
I,
on
mean, I got it covered. But I thank you for offering. I do thank you.
Be on the lookout for that DM. It's on the way. It is on the way.
So, okay, one more question. I don't know when y'all gonna start. I don't want to like drag it, but this is good to me. I don't get to talk to relationship stuff with people a lot. So I'm interested though in knowing like what do you guys feel? Dang, I just literally lost my thought. Oh, what do you guys feel about a woman who, for example, I have a career, um, and I just recently had a conversation about dating, on my level, right?
Yeah.
Um, as for me, I don't date, or people say that I don't date on my level. I don't feel like because I'm not with a person for their money or their status, to me that's not important. But would you guys like how do you guys feel about that? Like do you feel like people should date at their pay rate or they date at their for example, um should a lawyer date a school teacher? Should a doctor date a garbage truck driver? What are y'all thoughts on that?
I think it varies from person to person. And ultimately, you got to do what's best for you.
Yeah.
One of the worst things and the most divisive things that happened to the Black community was Kevin Samuels videos, unfortunately.
Oh my God.
And, the conversations around high value men and high value women and all this other stuff. And it's like,
people took that ran with it.
Yeah. And, it's like, as long as you can sleep at night and as long as you're happy, that's all that matters. Like, and people get so caught up in what the outside world thinks about their relationship and how the outside world views their significant other. And that's not important. What's important is the person you're in the relationship with. And so as long as you're happy and you're comfortable with the situation, whether you're dating up or dating down, however, the outside world, views it, then you're good. In my opinion, my humble opinion.
I do agree with that too. I think it depends on the person. I think as long as the person make you happy, I think that's what matters. But I also don't think that you should settle for anything either.
Exactly. Don't settle.
Yeah.
Right.
I do think that I don't want to say that if you are on this level of if you're on this level being blessed financially and this individual isn't all the way there, don't fully hold that against them. But at the same time, don't also limit yourself or limit where the things that God has blessed you with in life, trying to make that person feel better. That's if anything, it should be more of a if I'm on this level, this person is working towards this level, and I see that they're gradually working towards it, then that's a good thing. Not so much of they're gonna keep bashing you for, hey, I reached this level of success, because there are some people that go through that when you are dealing with an individual that you may be on a levels ahead of them, if that makes sense. So I think it varies.
Yeah, I'm gonna join the consensus on that. I think it varies between what that person is looking for, what they desire. Um, I feel like a relationship can work even though y'all not on the same financial level.
Yeah.
Level. That seems to be the type of level that we talking about. Um, because I feel like it can work between a lawyer and a school teacher if God intended for it to be that way. I
Mm-hmm.
feel like I believe that it can work out, and it will work out. Um, Many people try to equate relationship to how much you make, and that's not the standard in which
I'm sorry, because my man Ken is
Ken is made.
relentless. He is relentless.
Yeah, he is resilient.
He's ready. He's ready to go. And he just wanted to clarify.
He said,
Just
"Listen,
in
I
case,
ain't trying to pay your
is it,
bill. I'm just trying to help you out. I'm just trying to help. I'm just trying to help out. Listen, well, I don't know. It is raining here, so my Wi-Fi could very well be acting up. But I'm very well capable of paying my own bill. Now, I don't need no help. You know what I'm saying? I'm
oh
good
my
over here.
God.
It's
Ken.
Xfinity. If you want to call them up and tell them my Wi-Fi tripping, by all means, Ken, handle your
Hey,
business, bruh.
hey,
Listen, help me out. Help me out.
hey! I got
But I,
Xfinity too.
I, I think we
Yeah,
good.
yeah, it's fin.
Relentless pursuit.
Yeah, yeah. I know that's one thing that women love in a man is the fact that he's resilient.
Mm-hmm.
Resilience is a high quality to have. But yeah, like she said, she's real capable. She's very capable of paying that Wi-Fi bill.
While we're on this, I do have a question for you, Courtney. And I know you said you're not looking for like serious relationship, but as far as like rejecting men, when you reject a man, do you find it attractive for them to spin the block and come back, or do you want
No.
them to
That's
respect?
for the blog.
Oh wow.
I I didn't mean to cut you off, but I knew
No,
where
you're
you were
good.
going. But no, a long time ago, yes.
Okay.
And that I think I was immature at that moment,
Mm,
in those years where I wanted to chase, you know what I'm saying? I wanted, if you chased me, then it was flattering to me.
sure. Yeah.
Mhm.
At this big age, no. If I say, because I'm not coming at you in a way of, when I talk to people, I try to be serious. I try to be like authentic. I try to be myself. I don't say it in a way to where they feel rejected, so to speak. And I can't I can't help how somebody receives what I say, but I don't try to say it in a way where a person feels rejected, because I would never want to hurt anybody's like ego or nothing like that. So I'm just honest, like, hey, it's me, I'm working on myself, I'm just really not in a position right now to do that. So when you say it like that, for a person to come back, you didn't hear what I said. You're not respecting what I said. Now
Right.
you're irritating me. Now you don't got a shot at all, because you clearly didn't hear what I just said.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So no, I don't find it. I don't spend the block on me. If I tell you something, respect what I said. Just like if you were to tell me, well, hey, I really like you, but I'm just not in a position to really, get serious right now. But I would like to continue to get to know you, whatever you tell me, like, I should respect it. And if I don't, then that should be a flag to you to say, this girl trying to either push me, push my boundary, not respecting what I said, or she just something wrong with her. One of the two. So no, I don't need nobody to spin a block on me.
Gotcha. All right.
Yeah, that sounds good. Sounds good. But yeah, it's been an awesome show, man. I don't know about y'all. It's been a very entertaining, informative. You know, we seen shots being shot. You know,
He
we
was
we
not shooting his shot. He was just trying to say my Wi-Fi was bad. The man was actually, now that I know he was insulting me, Miss Jackson. Listen, nah, I'm just kidding.
Let's see. Armand says, "Yeah, got to respect what someone communicates about interests, active listening and support. Yeah, it's very important when dating. You have to
Super important.
actively listen to what that person is saying because at that point they're pouring out their heart, they're pouring out their concerns to you. And if you really are interested in that person, if you really seeing this go somewhere, you know, you should be able to sit there and not only listen to them, not only say, "Oh, I hear you," but understand, apply what they're saying. You know, find out what their interests are, find out what they like and don't like. And I feel like once you do that, you will be practicing healthy dating. And like I was saying, I really enjoyed this stream on tonight. I've enjoyed each and every one of you. I've enjoyed the chat. Like we say all the time over here, the chat is the one that makes the show. We don't make the show. The chat does. And chat, y'all been outstanding on tonight with your comments and your questions. And we just love you guys. We appreciate you guys for supporting us since day one. We really appreciate you guys. And yeah, I'm gonna turn it over onto whoever for final words, and then I'm gonna close us out for the night.
Just be careful out here, man,
Yeah,
and just make sure you're operating in honesty and letting people know what it is, regardless of whatever the situation might be. Just be upfront from the jump, and make sure there's no miscommunications. Um, and if you're wanting to actually date seriously, then approach it in a serious way. And don't play around with people's feelings. Um, yeah, that was my last thought.
yeah,
My friend said something to me, which is very profound. He said, "You need God to pick them, and you need God to keep them." So my last word would just be to make sure you keep God at the forefront of any relationship. If God is in it, then it'll stay healthy. And even if for some reason it turns unhealthy, if God is in it, he'll give you the strength to get out of it and leave an unhealthy situation. So
yeah.
God is the key. Keep him the center.
I
Amen on
guess
that
I
one.
say just make sure you stay encouraged with this journey of dating. Make sure that you don't lose sight of what you want. Make sure you don't lose sight of you want the goal of getting married, having a family, and all those different things. But know that don't rush yourself. Don't let this world make you feel like I gotta have it today or tomorrow. Know that what God has for you is gonna come when it's time for it to come. Sometimes we may not be ready for it. Sometimes they may not be ready for it. But just know that when it's time for everything to align, God's gonna make sure it's see fit. You'll know it, they'll know it. So just stay prayed up, continue to work on you, and the rest gonna fall in place for you.
Yeah, wise words from wise people as well. I'll leave y'all with this: do it God's way. Do it God's way. His way is better. I'm pretty sure all of us has learned that so many times during our lives. Still learning that his way is better because healthy dating is not, it's not for the weak. You really have to be in a position to where you're willing to learn, you're willing to sacrifice, you're willing to put in the work, you're willing to do whatever it takes in order for that relationship, that God ordained relationship, to work, because not all relationships are God ordained. Some relationships are just relationships for a season, and after that season's up, you have to have the strength to cut that person away. You have to have that strength to not only respect their decision to walk away, but you got to respect yourself to walk away. And you have to find yourself worthy enough to say, you know what? I'm worth more than this. I'm worth more than what I've gone through in my life. I'm worth better. And so at the end of the day, you have to love yourself. It comes down to self love. That's the first step you can take into achieving healthy dating is love yourself, date yourself, take yourself out to the movies, take yourself out to eat. I used to do that sometimes when I was single. I used to go out to eat by myself. And sometimes I still do that. My wife be like, "You going out to eat by yourself?" Yes, I am. Because sometimes you do need that me time. And y'all will learn that in marriage. There's nothing wrong in having you time. Don't let these people come out here and say, "Oh, you gotta be around each other every day, all day." No, 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 no. No, you don't. You need you. You need time to invest in yourself. You need time to love yourself so that you will have some love to pour into the other person and vice versa. And so don't go out here thinking that you deserve less because you're a king and you're a queen in God's eyes, and God created you to be more than a conqueror. He created you to be successful. He created you to be relationship ready. But you have to realize at the end of the day that you are relationship ready. So, um, with that being said, we thank y'all for participating. We thank y'all for joining us on tonight for this Friday the 13th edition of the Kingpin Talks podcast. I am your host, Dunn the Kingpin. Nate, your co-host, Anthony, your co-host, and our special lovely guest on tonight, Courtney Edwards. Go follow her on TikTok and Instagram, Coffee with Court. Go follow her. She's good people, down to earth, as you have seen on tonight. She'll definitely be back. Definitely be back. So y'all stay tuned for that. And we'll see y'all in the next episode. Love y'all. Have a good night.
All right, y'all.